Hey everybody, I just wanted to do a little bit of a video today on sort of my plans for doing 2nd edition 40K. So a group of my friends are planning on playing 2nd edition 40K, and I've actually, as many of you know, I started this channel with doing Eldar, and although I have other miniatures for 40K, I had, even in recent years, I'd come back and at one point did some like Rogue Trader miniatures, early edition miniatures. I started doing Bieltan, you know, Eldar as my first army, the white and green miniatures that I used to paint. And then I ended up doing sort of like a Space Elves pirate themed. And those are the ones that are sort of purple and blue that I'll show a little bit today, but they're earlier models as well. And so I'm not actually going to show my whole Eldar army today. There's lots of reasons for that, because like for this purpose of 2nd edition, there's a lot of models I have that either were not available in 2nd edition that were used in later editions, or there are models that were released much later that I'm not using because I have earlier models that I'm painting instead, and to be more in fitting with like kind of the nostalgia of playing the old early games. I wanted to start by just showing my finished Eldar Banshees. I did show these on the Musty Wargamers Facebook page and on Facebook, but yeah, I really enjoyed painting these. I did realize that I painted the base Goblin Green because I've been doing all of my old miniatures Goblin Green, but as you'll see today, like I've actually done a number of different bases over the years for my Eldar. They actually started out being more of a gray, and then I went to doing, well, they were always usually gray, but I had this black bordered epoxy sculpt base that I use for my space pirates. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I think when I paint my Bieltan miniatures going forward, I'm going to go to Goblin Green, and I'll just determine whether I'm going to convert the other ones over from the past. But what I'll show now is I want to start by just showing miniatures that are of an era that would make total sense for 2nd edition that I have. Just as I said, like I have a lot more Space Guardians, like Space Elves, than these. These are of this style. Just trying to look here. They're basically the really early Guardians. These ones have shuriken catapults. I've got 10 here because I'm thinking of doing a squad of 10 Guardians with the shuriken catapult upgrade for 2nd edition. And then I have like others that I can use that are like those, so I have more than these, quite a bit. This is a Warlock that is would have been available in 2nd edition that I painted up as a space pirate. And then I have the Farseer, which I will be using for these games. It's the original Farseer model. And so yeah, also painted as sort of like a Farseer supporting a space pirate theme. I have, as you guys might have seen in the past, like I do have the 2 different Wraith Lords. And these were actually called Dreadnoughts. They were just Dreadnoughts for the Eldar army. They weren't actually called Wraith Lords. It's a term that came in later. And I'll talk about that more in a little bit. But yeah, I have those that I can use for my 2nd edition Eldar. Other ones that I have is, I mean, I painted these a really long time ago, but I have all of these Warlocks that I could use, in addition to that one that was the Space Elf one. And, you know, like, the painting standard wasn't too bad on this. Like, I actually feel these look really pretty cool, like as far as old school look. Sorry about that. I wanted to make sure that I had the autofocus on, because sometimes I have it on manual, but you guys I think can see here. But yeah, you know, this is kind of an old school paint job. The only thing I did my best at some lightning effects on the blade, the witch blades. They came out a little rough, but when I was learning that stuff. And this guy was more of a test model. He's a bit more of a yellowish bone color than the bright white that I had on the others, and he's got more of a gray and bone look rather than black and white. But yeah, a couple other things that I was going to mention is I have Wraith Guard, and these were, I have like, let me pull out here, I have 10 Wraith Guard over here, and they're these old metal style. Now these were definitely of the generation of 2nd edition. These metal, I actually love these models. I did them really dark. So if you can't tell, they are a dark green, and then there's some like light green spots for the raised spots on the armor. And then the head is, rather than white, it is more of a light gray. And so I thought about maybe going in and lightening up the head a bit. And then I thought about maybe making them a bit brighter on all of them. But I have to determine on that. I don't know what you guys think, but I mean, it's just sort of like a dark green and light gray for the Bealton. I was thinking about maybe just freshening these up a little bit. But these would be perfect to use in the game. And then I have on the side here another 10 of these. And I'm not going to really like try to pull them all out to show them in a group for you, but I'll just show you like what they are. And these are the warp spiders. And so I did these sort of as like a Bealton look. I did like a fade with an airbrush on their backpack in the back with a decal, and then they're just black and like green and stuff. And I have basically 2 squads with Exarchs. To start gaming, I can use these just to as is, like just for now. I don't know if I'll I may consider repainting these guys. Like I have actually started like with the Banshees painting the Exarchs in more traditional colors, so the thought is I might do something with them at one point, but it's not sort of my first priority. In line with this, I actually have 3 or 4 Warwalkers that are like the original Warwalkers to paint. I have a squad of Dire Avengers with Exarch. I have Dark Reapers to paint, all metal 2nd edition kind of ones. I have Fire Dragons that are like the originals to paint. I have to still paint, like in this sort of style for the 2nd edition game. I have scouts, like the sniper scouts. And I'm trying to think what other ones I would have. I have the Swooping Hawks. I have those 2, like a support platform, weapon platform I have. So I have all the Phoenix Lords except the Howling Banshee one. And I have like, the Great Farseer, Eldrad Uthran, I think so, Uthran. Anyways, I have him as well. So I might have a couple of other things too, but that's a huge amount of it there that I still have to paint. And I think I'm going to do those all in the Bealton or in the traditional aspect colors, depending on whether they're aspects or not. And so I have a fair bit to play 2nd edition. I do know the points rack up really quick. Like we were trying to do like maybe a 500-point game for our first game, and that doesn't go very far, to be honest. I am going to come back because I do want to show a couple of things that I have that I think would make sense that I could use in the game in 2nd edition, but they're not maybe... I'll actually talk about it here in front of you. Just give me 1 second. So my desk is getting really crowded now, but I'll move these vehicles out of the way after I show them, but I really did like the way I painted this back then. I was really quite proud of this paint job. It was many years ago that I painted this. This is actually the same kit that was used in 2nd edition for the Falcon. And so I think this would work, and I have a couple of lights here going just to try to make the seeing a little bit better. But as you can see, like I did do some vine work here on these. Yeah, like I thought this Falcon came out kind of nice, but I could use this for sure in second. It was actually available as this kit then. And then as well, I think it might have been later, I'm not sure, but I know there are rules, and I believe the Wave Serpent, which this is the first, I think this is the first model that I might have painted like vehicle. And this one, it's just more of a solid green color, dry brushed and stuff. Like it's sort of a mottled green color, but I certainly could use this in games of second as a wave serpent. Some of my favorite miniatures that I painted for Eldar, like there was a point where I was really quite proud, you know, of where I'd gotten from in some of my earlier Guardians that I painted, and as I was learning to paint and trying different techniques. This particular group of fire dragons, that's what they were. These guys, I tried to do like a Biel-Tan interpretation. That was sort of my theme with everything, is like even the aspect warriors I painted to be like a Biel-Tan interpretation. And at the time, from where my painting skill level was, and then being what I was able to achieve with these guys really made me feel good at the time, and I think it was sort of like an example of like my favorite miniatures that I'd painted at that time. These guys are actually were not available in second edition. These guys actually came in third or fourth edition, and so, you know, like I actually have the earlier models of these, and I'm going to paint them in the original aspect and kind of see how they came out today, how I can paint them today. I did some Banshees in the past, and I was going to compare them to the ones that I just did, but I realized that they're the only ones I can't find. And as some of you know, I've moved space, and they may be back at my hobby room in my basement at my house, like in somewhere else. But I was not able. They're the only Eldar stuff that I couldn't find, which is strange. So I wasn't sure whether I should even consider trying to use these until I get the other ones painted. They're just later models, just like a generation or two. But to be quite honest, I really love the paint jobs on these. Like they're very nostalgic for me. I would never get rid of these. And so similarly, these jet bikes I painted, and the actual jet bikes themselves are the same jet bikes from second edition. The only thing is that they did update the riders. These riders are a bit more updated by a generation. And so, like, they didn't have these, like, shoulder pad kind of vents on the top. Back then, they just had sort of like a regular cone head Eldar with a grate on the face, not even as stylish. And these have some Eldar heads as well, like not just the helmets, but they do have more of a modern rider on them. I thought these came out kind of nice, and until I could actually find jet bikes that might be, until I eventually maybe do some older jet bikes if I can get my hands on them, I was thinking I might just use these. And so, and if any of you guys that have been on my channel for a long time, you'll remember I used to have intro videos where I had these guys spinning on a disc. And a lot of these models are models that I've painted in the past and were featured all on my channel, which is nice. And that's kind of one of the exciting things about doing this again, is kind of bringing in a little bit of the old with the new. I had something set out here, and it was really just an actual Wraith Lord. And these were the Wraith Lords that, I don't know if they've ever updated the Wraith Lord model or not, but this was sort of the Wraith Lord that I primarily used to game back then in like 2012. And this is a plastic model, obviously. And I do really like the old ones, though. They just have that real nostalgic character to them, which are just really cool. Like, in a lot of ways, they all can look alien, you know, in many ways, but there's something really alien about, like, War of the Worlds, almost, about the original Eldar Wraith Lords, I think, in comparison to something like this, which almost has a bit more of, like, a Robotech feel to me, or something like that, as in comparison. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of like stuff that I'm working on now. I'm really excited. I've been doing Warhammer Fantasy 6th edition, but I will be doing more of the gaming for 2nd edition 40K, so I'll be doing more painting that's related to that. And then as well, I'll be doing some historical in the new year and starting the new year, some World War II stuff as well. So hope you guys are actually having a good week before the holidays. If I do get a chance to put up another video, I will, but if not, then everybody have a great holiday season. I hope that everybody has great times with their family, and maybe even some recharge time with hobbying if there's any time to do that, you know, because everybody's a little different. I know some folks can hobby throughout the year and then they take a break like during the holidays. Some folks are working real hard and they actually get some time off at Christmas and do a little hobbying. And so just depending on what your situation is, I hope you can use your time the way you want. So talk to you later, everybody.